Hi there, folks. On behalf of Astromatrix, my name is Marcelle, and I'm here today to talk to you about Neptune that is going retrograde alongside all the other planets on the 25th of June this month. So before I dive into that, please like and subscribe to our content. And then I also need to mention that at the end of each report, I like to do a tarot reading on behalf of the collective based on the Neptune that will be retrograding, because it gives more information and depth on how to explore the energies around that. So do stay tuned for that. So let's dive in. What does Neptune retrograde have in store for us? So as I mentioned, it's happening on the 25th or the 26th, depending on where you are in the world. And so a good example, today actually there is a square that's happening between Mercury, which is going retrograde at the moment in Gemini. It's in an exact square, 23 degrees, with Neptune in Pisces. So Neptune has not gone retrograde yet. And so what this does is it creates, it needs to be mentioned that Mercury retrograde will be going all the way backwards, and then at some point it moves direct again, and then again comes into a square with Neptune. So it's quite a strong theme that's playing out, and because Neptune is a transpersonal planet, generational planet, it means that it doesn't just affect us on a personal level, but also on a global level. So Neptune and Mercury. So Neptune already, it has to do with, it's a very spiritual planet, and it's very much connected to spiritual transcendence. But if we are not living those truths, wherever it is that we hold delusion or deception within our lives, if we're in denial about something, then we will experience it as confusion. And either we may experience deceptiveness coming our way, or we may be deceiving others, be it conscious or unconscious, especially when it brings Mercury, the lower mind, into the equation. So having these two in a square can indicate that there is a lot of confusion around what's happening on the planet at the moment. So we had a similar energy playing out at the end of last year with the nodes in a square to Neptune, and the nodes represent where we're coming from and where we're needing to evolve to. And having that in a square with Neptune creates confusion around what is real and what isn't real. And so this is the case again. We may experience exhaustion, fatigue, fogginess, confusion, fear. A lot of fear can be pushed to the surface as well, because Neptune wants us to dissolve any illusion that we hold around aspects of our realities that are not in truth. So because it is in Pisces especially, it heightens that connection. So Neptune is very much ruled by Pisces, so it's in its rulership, so it's especially powerful. And having it moving very slowly, it's the slowest moving planet through Pisces at this point in time on the planet. It's really wanting us as a humanity, as a collective, as well as individuals, to dissolve any illusion that we hold around truth and around the nature of our reality. So Pisces is, it's a water sign, and Neptune is a yin. It's very yin, it's very feminine. And having it going retrograde, it really amplifies that need to go inwards and reflect on where it is that we could be lying to ourselves, where it is that we are in denial, where it is that we're not living our truth. It has a lot to do with our dreams, our spiritual aspirations, our creativity. The concept of Pisces being water is that it's not about boundaries. It's not about putting things into boxes. It's an infiniteness. If you imagine a fish in the ocean, you can't contain it in your hands. It'll just swim away. There's no edges to it. It's just so vast. And in a way, this is the nature of reality. But what happens is the mind comes along and it wants to have control over things that one can't have control over, because we do not know yet what the truth is or what the nature of things are. And so when the mind cannot have control over things, often what can happen is it can create delusion or misconceptions, or it shuts things out because it cannot put it into a box that makes sense. And so wherever those areas are in our lives, and having a look at your chart and checking to see not only where transiting Neptune is in where it's moving through in your chart, but also where the natal Neptune lies in your chart will give a lot of information as to how this is going to play out for you. If we are over-exaggerating our dreams about love, about finances, about a career, if we're not seeing the truth for what it is, that has the potential to come tumbling down. It's Neptune is not like Uranus, which is about shock and disruption, or like Pluto, which brings power struggles. Neptune is a much slower process, so it's actually retrograding about 40% of the year. So 5 months it's in retrograde. It's a long time. It's in retrograde all the way to the 2nd of December, and it moves very, very slowly, and very slowly it dissolves. Over a period of time, you get to see your illusions for what they are, and albeit uncomfortable and challenging, it's such a powerful catalyst for allowing yourself to know yourself better, and also to wake up to a deeper part of yourself. It allows for very deep deconditioning to happen. So the trick with Neptune is to really allow yourself to cultivate some kind of spiritual practice, as well as to maintain a healthy regime for yourself in your life. So for those of you who have very strong Neptune in your chart, and once again, having a look at your chart will give you a sense. So you can go to the Astrometric app if you have not done so already. Punch in your details and it will bring up your chart for you. There is a work study tutorial process in Astrometrics in order for you to understand what the glyph is for Neptune, as well as what the houses represent. So once you know where your natal Neptune is, you can get a sense of what that house represents. What are the themes that you have come to work with in this lifetime around Neptune? What are you needing to see the truth of? Where are you potentially in illusion? How are you not embracing your spiritual truths? How are you not embracing your creative power? Where are you misleading yourself or others? And so once you know what your natal position of Neptune is, have a look to see if there are any aspects, such as a square or a trine, or a sextile or an opposition to Neptune. So generally someone that has a lot of aspects to Neptune will feel this transit stronger. So this doesn't necessarily mean that everybody's going to be impacted by this. So for instance, for me, I have very strong Neptune transits, and I'm really feeling this Mercury square Neptune today, and it feels like a fogginess. I was in my gown up until an hour or two ago. It's already 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and everything that I planned to do, I haven't done any of it, just because I wasn't able to actually bring the focus together and make it happen. And I found myself eating more and feeling quite tired when I woke up this morning. So for me, I know at some point I'm going to have to get really rigid with some kind of routine that helps me consistently progress forward with what it is that I need to do, as well as digging in deeper to see what it is that I'm needing to unravel. Where is it potentially that I am in illusion in my life? And so this is the benefits of Neptune going backwards. And what's happening is, as we progress to the 25th over the next 2 weeks, we have Venus, which is now moving through Cancer, coming into a trine with Neptune. So Venus has a lot to do with our sense of aesthetics, also our values, what it is that we value and how it is that we love. And so having this coming into a trine to Neptune, and then of course it moves on as Neptune goes retrograde, there's a build up towards it. I feel that this does give some indication that, this is the only strong aspect that's happening as this retrograde starts. So, because Neptune also very much has to do with our creativity, our hopes and our dreams and our aspirations. With Venus in that trine, it's a supporting hand in exploring what those hopes and dreams and aspirations are from a higher perspective of love. Venus in Cancer is very much about nurturing and mothering. How can we nurture and mother our dreams? And how can we allow ourselves to sit down and have a clearer understanding of what it is that we want and how it is that we can get there, whilst dissolving any fog or delusions of grandeur or delusions of excess that we may have around that. So I have got the cards over here, and before I explore what our reading has to say, I just need to mention that we do offer, the retrograde season, along with the eclipses that are happening, it can potentially be intense for some of those of you who are very sensitive. So it's always helpful to get a reading done, just to understand what it is that you're working with and how to get there. So it brings awareness, which allows you to navigate the challenges a little bit better. So we do offer transit readings on the Astrometrics app, and you can always sign up for one of those to get more in-depth understanding of what's playing out. Right, so on behalf of the collective, we are exploring Neptune retrograde. We are exploring the Neptune retrograde in Pisces, and we'd like to explore this reading on behalf of the collective. So this is on behalf of the collective. It's the Neptune in Pisces retrograde, starting on the 25th. How will this be impacting all of us? All right, so the questions that I'm going to be exploring is, so just off the bat, 2 cards fell out, and I'm actually going to put them to the side because they're quite beautiful. The first one is Temperance, which is the card of bringing things back into balance. And the second card is the Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups is about love, around new emotional beginnings. Okay. So that actually feels quite Piscean, because it's very much to do with the emotions, with water, and there's an element of like slowly bringing balance back into our emotional state. So on behalf of the collective, what is Neptune wanting me to acknowledge about my life? What is Neptune retrograde wanting me to acknowledge about my life? The next question is, where is my reality distorted? The next question is, how can I change my life? And the last one is, what will support my journey of truth moving forwards? All right. So we've got all the cards shuffled. I feel like we have the theme of the reading. It's the Temperance card and the Ace of Cups. Okay, so what is Neptune wanting me to acknowledge about my life? Okay, next question is, where's my reality distorted? All right. How can I change my life? And what will support my journey of truth moving forward? Okay. All right. So I have on the top of the deck, I have got the Five of Pentacles, which is a card of struggle and possibly feeling a bit like a victim. So obviously this reading will not pertain to everybody, but for those of you, if it does resonate, then keep listening. And the Five of Cups has to do with financial struggle as well. So the first question is, what is Neptune retrograde wanting me to acknowledge about my life? And what I have is the Tower card. And the Tower card is a card of disruption. It's very Uranian. And it's all about this shattering that is needing to happen in order for the foundations that are not solid to crumble, and for the walls to crumble, for the illusions to crumble for what they are. And so it's wanting you to acknowledge that there are foundations that you have built your life on that are not solid and stable, that are starting to crumble, and they're needing to crumble. And the more you can allow that process to happen, the more you can allow those illusions to dissolve, the sooner the phoenix can rise from the ashes, as the expression goes. So the next question is, where is my reality distorted? And I've got the Page of Pentacles, and I feel that this has to do with, well, for one, it's an earth sign, It has to do with new ideas around finances, around financial projects. But I also I feel that it has to do with stability and growth. So where is my reality distorted? Perhaps a lot of what this is about is learning to re-establish or reconnect with what real stability and growth and abundance means. So if we have been attached to a false sense of abundance, a false sense of security, if we've been attached to distortions around money, how it is that we manage money or work with money, then this has created a distortion in our life that will be challenged during this period. It could also have to do with health. Perhaps some of you have been taking your health for granted, and there's this turning a blind eye to the fact that you are eating junk food all the time, and things are starting to happen that are feeling uncomfortable, and you're just ignoring it or not taking responsibility for it. And so Neptune has the potential to really shine a light on that, either through your health getting really bad, or something comes along to really bring your awareness to the truth of how it is that you're not acknowledging that. So the next question is, how can I change my life? And it's very beautiful. I mean, that's such a huge question, but we have the Magician card here. And the Magician card has got all 4 the elements in it. So the cup representing the emotions, the sword representing the mind and logic, the wands representing fire and creativity and initiation, and the pentacles representing earth and abundance and finances and health. And so the Magician is talking about bringing things into manifest. So through this process of dissolving and becoming more aware of where it is we are in illusion with our realities, it then creates ground for something new to be birthed, something that is more true to who we are. And it is at this moment, and we can't really know what that is until the illusions have been dissolved. That's the tricky part about it. It's almost like you're entering into the state of no man's land, where you don't really have anything to hold on to, and you just have to kind of ride those waves until you come out on the other side. And when that happens, it's about, the Magician has one hand up pointing to the ether, which represents the ideas, and it's bringing that wisdom down to the earth to ground it into concrete reality. So it's literally no longer just talking about things or thinking about things, but actually bringing them into manifest somehow, actually getting into action and making things happen despite how challenging or difficult it is. And this isn't just around your business that wants to make a lot of money. It has to do with your relationships. It has to do with your health. It has to do with your spiritual path, your routines in everyday life, your family. So where are there areas that you are in illusion with, and how can you bring the change into reality, into groundedness? So the last question is, what will support my journey of truth moving forward? And I've got the 9 of Swords, which is a card of deep anxiety and anguish. And I feel that there's kind of 2 implications of this card. The first one is, I feel that it's acknowledging the grief. It's not hiding away from it. It's really opening yourself up to possibly how it is that you may have been misleading yourself or others. I feel that there's an owning that's needing to happen. There's an accountability that's needing to happen. There's a sitting with the uncomfortable feelings that is needing to happen. It's so easy for us to distract ourselves with people, shopping, alcohol, food. And so this is talking about the need to really allow yourself some time alone to sit with it and to actually meet it and feel it and allow yourself through that to process it. Because this is one of the reasons why we push those things into the corner and pretend that they don't exist, while we go into denial with things, because we know that that journey of waking up is uncomfortable. It requires us like meeting it and owning it and feeling it, but it's the only way through. And I feel that by doing that, this is where the positivity of these two cards come through. So I feel like, yes, it's an intense process, but what the cards are letting us know, we have the Temperance card and the Ace of Cups. And so it's saying that what can happen is these new emotional beginnings that we wish for our lives. And this Neptune retrograde is very much about reflecting on what are my dreams? What are my dreams? And what illusions am I holding onto that are not allowing me to reach those dreams? And so when we can bring all of those illusions back into balance, then we can experience the Ace of Cups, which is the highest card of love, and it's a very spiritual card, but it's also a card of new emotional beginnings, and that feels really, really positive. So I hope that shed some light on this Neptune retrograde that's coming up, and would love to hear where Neptune lies in your chart and what's been coming up for you. Are you very sensitive to Neptune? Are you like me, who's still in your gown at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, unable to do anything when heavy transits hit? So yes, I wish you all the best with that. And thank you so much for your time. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for your time. Bye for now.